Welcome back to the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, where the Providence Friars trail Yale by a score of 10-9 early. We welcome you, those of you watching Western Kentucky on Marshall, and right here in a game that's featured 5 lead changes already, in Providence playing without one of its best players in Chris Dunn.
Yeah, Chris Dunn finally getting back into the mix and has been playing terrific basketball for the 5-0 Friars. Played great at Mohegan Sun last weekend, leading his club to wins over Florida State, over Notre Dame. Scoring the ball, he was shooting it, but most importantly, the court vision, the assist, anchoring that fast break. He went down with an ankle injury. The freshman shooter, Jalen Lindsey, sitting right next to him there. Now, Ed Cooley was out here about 2 hours ago, Rich, and said he's going to try to get Lindsey some minutes, but Dunn, 99.9% most likely a no-go for today.
You never know, depth could always be a concern, but that is a big loss considering the development of Dunn, who had played only 29 games the first 2 years. Montague off from that three-point attempt, and Bancroft rips it down. But Dunn had been having a terrific start, and over his last 3 had been averaging 11 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he gave you a little bit of everything.
And they were getting a lot of ball handling and terrific guard play by committee. Now it's going to be more on Cartwright this afternoon.
Henton fouled as he was going up, and we'll go to the line. And that's going to be on the captain, Greg Kelly. That's his first. So here is LaDante Henton, who's shooting 74% from the free throw line and knocks down that one. So Providence got off to a slow start from the free throw line in the season opener, shooting just 50%, but have been strong since then, averaging 74% for the season. And Henton hits both. And it gives the Friars a 2-point lead.
Career afternoon for Henton. First Mike Bray's Notre Dame ball club last Sunday afternoon.
And he was so impressed. He said, boy, you have really, really grown as a player. That's a tremendous compliment. Coming from Mike Bray.
He remembers him from the old Big East days, and Henton played right away as a freshman for Ed Cooley.
I think he's glad he doesn't have to face him annually anymore. But then again, Henton is a senior, so he'll graduate this year.
That's right.
So the turnover for Yale, that's its second. And Sears with a foul already.
They love this type of spacing and weave action. Now they're going to get Harris for the push-off.
Harris does not agree with it, as you might expect.
Not as obvious as Lamamba's earlier in the game, but that little action with the offhand.
So it's been a good one so far. A little more than 6.5 minutes in. Providence with just a 2-point lead. The Friars, perfect 5-0 to start things off. Yale season started with a double overtime loss to Quinnipiac, but since have put together 5 straight wins.
This team is a few possessions away from being 6-0.
Off the miss, Cartwright skies. Nice look for Bento, but it was knocked away, and Sears recovers.
A little low on the pass for that much traffic, but good idea by the freshman.
Duran leaves for Kelly. Sears thought about the 3. Quick release from Duran, and he hits over Henton. Javier Duran off to a good start with 8 so far.
That's the one you need to worry about. Sears has only taken 2 from downtown on the season, but the Providence guards need to take away that airspace. Too many catch and shoots right now for the Bulldogs.
Bento down low, bottled up, and he's called for steps. Good defense by the Bulldogs. 6th Providence turnover in a little more than 7 minutes.
Well, Jones's ball club will be scrappy, and they will play together on the offensive end. And this guy, Duran, has a ton of experience. 4-year leader for James Jones, and he was the focal point of the defensive scouting report for PC coming in.
One of 3 seniors in the Yale starting lineup today. And just in is Anthony Dyer with it to Makai Mason, also just in. So James Jones using his bench early. Off the dribble, it's Mason finding Dahlia for three. And the three ball, with the exception of Duran, has not been there for the other Bulldogs today. Bancroft, who has a three for Providence. Bentel down low, finding Hinton. Backs his way in and draws the foul. So LaDante Hinton and the Friars of Providence trailing by one. Providence trails by one. Let's check in with Vin Parisi, who is checking out the Providence huddle. Vin?
Hey, Rich, Ed Cooley talking all about half-court defense. He's going to stay with the man-to-man, not go zone. He talked about switching that high pick and roll that Yale's been running.
Yale off to a very good start from the field today. 5 of 13. Javier Duran has hit a couple of threes, and Providence looking to extend its consecutive winning streak versus non-conference opponents at home to 39, as the Friars started the streak over 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I should say, as Hinton knocks down the free throw. And Hinton perfect so far at the line, 4 for 4, and he has 6. And it gives the Friars a 1-point lead at 14-13. Hinton named second team All Big East, and so far it's almost as if he's playing as if he felt slighted. Here's Mason, tried to find Townsend down low, but intercepted. Here comes Hinton the other way, and Hinton, the left hand, just does not find the bottom of the net.
But he's so much more comfortable doing that now than he was the first half of his career. Taking that ball by himself in transition and taking off like he's a little guard.
Nice pump fake by Kelly, and he's fouled, and will go to the line. And that's going to be on Hinton. That's his first. And the Friars' third. So Greg Kelly, the 6'8" senior from Newton, Massachusetts, will go to the line. A 63% free throw shooter. He knocks down the first as DeRozier and Tyler Harris come back into the game for Providence. But Greg Kelly with a bright future. Has worked at Fenway Park selling merchandise. Interned at GQ setting up promotional events. I'm expecting an invitation next time that there is one. And also a radio DJ.
About the diversity of that resume.
I hope he hits a few more free throws. I feel a little threatened.
So you could dress well, talk sports, and announce the game.
Yes.
All in one.
But a big jazz and rhythm and blues guy, and soul. So multifaceted Greg Kelly, the captain of the Bulldogs. And he goes to the bench with Yale up by one, 15-14, nearly midway through the first half. Rich Ackerman along with Vin Parisi from the Providence Civic Center, now called the Dunkin' Donuts Center. And off the steal, here's Duran. And Duran with the easy layup.
Now Cartwright's going to learn as a rookie, when you have a lineup this big on the floor, you as the little guy do not need to take on the entire half-court defense by yourself. This is that big lineup that Jones was worried about. Talking with Coach Jones from Yale, he said Ed Cooley's big guys, they're shooting it as well as the guards right now.
Well, the fact that midway through the first half this has been as close a game as it has been should not be a surprise at all. DeRozier in the lane, had it blocked by Sears. As we mentioned, this was a close game a year ago, won by Providence by just 2. And Bentel's going to get called for a foul.
One thing you got to realize with these Bulldogs is they have experience on the perimeter. And yes, the hustle starts off the break. The block led to the transition, but James Jones's guards are not going to hesitate with runouts just because they're on the road versus a Big East opponent.
Here's Matt Townsend, flips to Makai Mason, and that one way off. Harris the rebound. Hinton watched by Townsend. Bentel had trouble handling it. And Henton with his feet set, but can't get the three to go down. And here's Javier Duran, who's had an outstanding start so far. He has 10 to lead all scorers. Down low, Sears works on DeRozier. And he's fouled by DeRozier. How about
that? Was too easy.
How about the step, though, the length. Tonight, don't miss another Continental Tire Las Vegas Invitational doubleheader, including Illinois taking on Baylor for the title. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So here's Justin Sears at the line and can't get the roll on that. A 69% free throw shooter.
See how comfortable he was when he had DeRozier in a face-up situation, able to rip through, going hard righty with a full head of steam. Tough to guard for that size.
One of two, off to an outstanding start this season after being an all-Ivy League selection as a sophomore. First sophomore from Yale to be an all-Ivy selection as Bentel throws it down to pull the Friars to within 2.
Picture perfect, textbook press offense. Get the basketball to the middle of the floor, attack, bounce pass to your guy along the baseline.
Well, Sears, the first sophomore from Yale to become all-Ivy as a sophomore since Chris Dudley back in 1985.
How about that?
Mason crossover.
A little zone by the Friars.
Shot clock down to 5. Mason over Cartwright for 3.
Ed Cooley's defensive philosophy is tough twos. Make them penetrate, make them take contested jumpers with a hand in their face. And Yale shooters right now are getting their feet set and they're getting plenty of airspace.
And 4 of 11 from three-point range to open up a 5-point lead. And Bentel bottled up by Townsend. And if that's on Townsend, that's going to be his second. And it is. So Matt Townsend, 6'7" senior, will likely head to the bench after picking up his second foul. Sam Downey set to check in.
That's a tough blow for Yale, but it all started with Tyler Harris's middle penetration. You have to keep the basketball out of the middle of the floor defensively when you're in the half court, whether you're in man or zone.
Bentel just a 60% free throw shooter, and he missed the first. So we'll try to get something on this trip. With Yale up by 5. And now 4. 21-17. Yale with the ball in the navy blue today on the road. Coming off a win over Lafayette, which was never close. A 22-point victory for their 5th straight. Sears dumps it off. Downey just a little short. And the loose ball goes to Harris. Here's Harris for 3.
Defensive breakdown. Tyler Harris keeping it simple. Got the ball to the middle of the floor, and James wants to talk it over.
His first points of the game pull the Friars to within 1.
Bentel, one guy getting it done for Cooley inside, but the Bulldogs are not quitting.
Happy holidays, everyone. Rich Ackerman, Vin Parisi, 7:25 left first half, and a strong start for the Bulldogs of Yale, but 4 straight points caused James Jones to call for timeout quickly.
And with the Bulldogs, we were talking with Jones earlier, it's just about communicating, make them play tough, make them play under duress in the half court. He felt like his team would be able to stop the transition today from the Friars. He said, we're a good defensive transition ball club. I'm just worried more about the matchups when we get into the half court situation. And you saw Tyler Harris that time, not a defender within 10 feet of him.
How about Harris here at the top of the zone?
Yeah, look at this length. Oh.
But finding the man down low was Mason, and putting it home was Downey.
Ed Cooley is staring down Carson DeRozier. Defensive breakdown in communication on the backside.
23-20, Yale by 3, and the lob for Hinton down low, and a nice job by the senior to finish.
What a high basketball IQ play by LaDante Hinton. Knew he didn't have the alley-oop, gathered himself, came up for the reverse on the other side.
He now has 8, and Providence back within 1 once again. Amani Cotton watched by Hinton. Sears working on Benton.
That's hustle.
Nice job by DeRozier
Nice.
to dive for the floor. An outlet for Cartwright. Providence with numbers. Here's Harris, and Harris can't finish.
All that defensive intensity and not able to get 2 points at the other end. I love how aggressive they were out of that pick and roll, though.
Sears watched by DeRozier, and he's going to get called for traveling.
Mr. Downey's one of several Bulldogs that's playing aggressive inside for James Jones. But the Friars go as LaDante Hinton goes.
First half, and it's Yale on top by 1, 23-22. Yale's Matt Townsend going for the layup there, but his talent stretched far beyond the court as he has just been awarded a Rhodes Scholarship. It's one of the most exclusive scholarships in the nation that one person can get, and just the 4th Yale men's player to get one in the first since 1976. What a student he has been in his 3 years at Yale. Not one grade has been less than an A. A perfect 4.0 average and a 5 beta kappa, and now a Rhodes Scholar as well. So congratulations to Matt Townsend. Had to miss 2 of the Bulldogs' 3 games last weekend while interviewing for the scholarship.
Oh, very big congratulations. Oh, 2 times in the 70s, 1 time in the 60s done in the history of the school.
Fought for on the floor, and Harris recovers. Harris.
With his team defense, terrific.
Here's Hinton with the fall away.
They made the extra pass. See, the Bulldogs are going to scramble. They're going to communicate. They're going to have effective help side defense. You need to be strong with the ball.
Hinton with 10 of the 24. Downey short jump. And it's going the other way.
Look at this help along the baseline. Navy blue jerseys everywhere. Guys converging. And then a heads-up, under-control play by Tyler Harris. And there's an example of why Ed Cooley calls LaDante Hinton Mr. Everything. Says he has such a nose for the ball. He's always in the right place at the right time.
Harris trying to find his way to the basket. The give for Bento a little too strong. And he was fouled going up. And the foul is going to go on Sears. And that's his second.
And another good little shovel pass in there. Bulldogs being very aggressive, moving their feet well. They just need to finish these defensive possessions off. It's good to scramble. It's good to rotate and communicate. Now you just want the tail end of the possession to be a contested jumper, not a layup inside.
Bento unable to hit from the line. It's an 8-2 Providence run right now. And both forwards, Justin Sears and Matt Townsend, each have 2 fouls. So Sam Downey and Greg Kelly back on for Yale. And Hinton make that Bento misses both.
Cooley feels Bento with enough reps and minutes could have a very, very bright future in the Big East.
Very patient offense by the Bulldogs and a lot of movement.
A lot of pick and rolls. Look at all these ball screens. Very nice.
Kelly has it stripped, and here's Hinton with the steal. 7th turnover for Yale.
Aggressive, moving their feet, communicating. Most importantly, Rich, hands straight up. Can't get in trouble with the Zebras when those hands are straight up.
Fundamental defense right there, as taught by Vin Parisi.
Helps when you have Rhodes Scholars executing it.
Of which we are not. Just want to point that out. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Cartwright the fake, and he's fouled, and it's going to go on Downey. So Cartwright will go to the line looking to extend an 8-2 run by the Providence. They lead by 1. Leads by 1, looking for its 6th consecutive victory, and a big part of their big start was back-to-back wins in as many days last weekend. First over Florida State with a terrific performance, blowing out the Seminoles, and then following it up with an impressive one over Notre Dame.
Well, the Friars had Mohegan Sun rocking Rich like it was the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Brought down thousands of fans from the state of Rhode Island. Ed Cooley said, I want to see it as Providence College South in northern Connecticut. LaDante Henton brought the A-game, 38 career points against Notre Dame.
Surprisingly, the Big East champs were picked 5th in the preseason poll, perhaps in part because of the loss of Bryce Cotton, who has moved on, but certainly a lot returning, and if they can get Chris Dunn healthy, which is a big key, they'll be in very good shape.
Yeah, the combination of Cotton and Batts being involved with so many of their baskets last year, and then Josh Fortune leaving, I don't think they realized that LaDante Henton, Harris, Dunn, these guys were going to get off to such a good start, especially offensively for Ed Cooley.
And then you have the addition of the freshmen such as Cartwright, who hits both free throws to make it a 3-point game. He has 4. And Bentel have come along very nicely so far.
But hasn't that just been the theme of the league as a whole? Seton Hall wins the Paradise Jam. Villanova's probably going to be top 10 next week.
DeRozier with the block, his 2nd of the game. And here's Henton, who gives to Cartwright.
Georgetown with some big-time wins.
41-4 so far, the Big East Conference. An impressive start.
Good job. Reset, get a good possession.
Plenty of time. Henton way out with Duran on him. Harris with a mismatch. He just can't get it to go down. Boy, he's come close a couple of times already today.
Okay, but I like the thinking. Harris with a big-time height advantage inside.
Kelly's short, but right there is Dahlia. And he's fouled from behind. Nice hustle by the 6'6" sophomore. That's 2 on Henton now with just over 3 minutes left in the first half.
You know, we talked Chris Dunn earlier, Rich, but what about Jalen Lindsey? He's somebody that the Florida State game, shooting it very well from the outside, came in highly touted, nationally ranked recruit from the state of Tennessee. Guy Fryer fans very excited about. Then he goes off with the injury versus Notre Dame. So another long athletic guard like a Chris Dunn who's on the shelf for Cooley.
Dahlia hits both, but you know, Lindsey was really starting to get comfortable. Had hit 5 of 6 against Florida State from 3-point range, and his first attempt against Notre Dame was good when he came down and rolled his ankle. So he was 6 for 7 from 3-point range over the 2 days, and then of course leaving with the injury.
The shooters, sometimes it's just a matter of possessions to get them comfortable. That confidence of makes.
Foul was on Duran, his first, and so with Yale on the penalty, it's a 1-and-1 situation for Tyler Harris. A 71% free throw shooter. And he hits it for another. Tyler Harris, a 6'8", 225-pound junior out of Dix Hills, New York. Half Hollow Hills West High School, the same high school as Yale head coach James Jones.
Great trivia for today.
It's produced a lot of good players in college and pro basketball. Now Tobias Harris, Tyler's older brother. Tavon Sledge, who was at Iowa State and now at Iona, among others. Quick release by Montague, and there's Harris for the rebound.
How about the big lineup that Providence goes with when 6'8" Tyler Harris is at the 2 spot?
Makes it very, very tough to
How many teams, unless you're talking pros, have 6'8" guys at the 2 at times?
Ted Bancroft back in for the Friars.
Yale turning up the defensive intensity here in the half.
Well, Bancroft has hit the 3 unguarded, so Dahlia makes sure to get out on him. Here's Cartwright from 3. Bancroft in for the rebound, and that's going to go. And it looks like there's also going to be a foul called on Dahlia. Score it and the foul.
Hustle Scrappiness by the fan favorite, Bancroft.
Looks like a running back fighting for an extra yard.
Look at the little box out shrug. Bancroft throws him out of the way, gets to the inside, and gets it up high enough to get that one to count.
So Providence with a 5-point lead, its largest of this first half, and Bancroft with a chance to extend it. Oh, nice touch. Everything looked good about that stroke. So Bancroft with 6, and the lead is now 6.
These last 2 minutes could be the difference for the Bulldogs between going in even or Providence going in with super momentum and a double-digit lead.
A 15-4 run by the Friars. We talked about all the movement. Yale needs to lead to a good shot right here. Sears and Townsend both have been on the bench for quite a while with 2 fouls. Here's Downey, a little floater, and it's good. Nicely done by Sam Downey, and it's a 4-point game.
And great sharing of the ball by Yale that time out of their half-court offense. 4 blue jerseys touch the rock in a matter of seconds.
Off the curl, here's Cartwright, finds a step into the lane. Bento foul going up, and that looks like it's going to be on Kelly.
First game or 2 of the season, Bento was bobbling some of those. Nothing having to do with catching the ball, everything having to do with chemistry and playing off of each other. And you can see how much more comfortable the Cartwright to Bento combination is getting.
So now that's the second on Kelly, and Townsend and Sears already on the bench with 2 fouls. Bento 1 of 4 at the line so far tonight. Make it 2 of 5. Improves his average right there. And here comes Pascal Chukwu, another one of the fabulous freshman recruits for the Friars.
Look at that length. Want to talk about some wingspan in the middle of when Cooley goes zone.
1 of 2 for Bento, and Kelly with a nice box out on Chukwu.
I think Duran needs to get more aggressive here when the basketball's in his hands.
Inside a minute left first half. Providence by 5. Here's Duran for 3, and skying was Bento. Nothing falling lately for the Bulldogs.
No, but with Sears and Townsend on the bench, he has to have that mindset.
Chukwu, nice little move by Chukwu.
That's why he worked with footwork with freshmen. Great job gathering himself and being under control there in the paint.
The lead is up to 7 for the Friars, its largest of this first half. And Yale will hold for 1 with the shot clock off. And desperately needing something before the break.
Zone to end the half for the Friars.
Montague lost it, but he was hit from behind by Harris. And that's the second on Harris. So that gives Montague an opportunity to chip into that Friars lead before the end of the half with just 6.2 left on the clock.
They're going to get 1 more possession, and Ed Cooley just put LaDante Henton back in. End of half, just seconds remaining. They love to run that little quick drag, pick and pop throwback for Henton.
And Montague misses the front end of the 1-and-1, and very quickly and wisely Providence calls for time. So the Friars with a 7-point lead will have a chance to extend it when we come back. 7-point lead over Yale right now, and a chance before the halftime break to extend that lead. Not much time.
The refs are checking this out right here. Now there's the whistle. Looked like the whistle was at about 6.2. Right now there's 5.1. Rich up on the arena clock. Jeff Anderson and company try to get this one right. They're probably going to add a second on to it. Perhaps. Ed Cooley with the little use it or lose it first half timeout, trying to draw up one last basket. And now they need a little bit more time. Anderson just sent both ball clubs back to their respective head coaches.
Nice little respite and another chance to draw up a play. What do you think that head coach is going to try to draw up there?
I think you're going to see a speed dribble up the sidelines and the quick, high pick and roll for LaDante Henton. But the pick and pop, the throwback. Henton's been a lot more of a three-point threat and option early this season. Would not be surprised to see the half end that way.
So the officials checking again to see just how much time came off the clock between the time that Carson DeRozier touched the ball and timeout was called. So far, no time has been put back on the clock, and they're going to leave it at 5.1. So the inbound pass unguarded and nearly stolen by Duren. DeRozier's going to have to heave one from three-quarter court and off the mark. That's about the only thing that hasn't fallen for the Friars lately. An impressive run to end the first half. The Friars lead by 7, 34-27, behind a terrific performance from LaDante Henton once again, who has 10. Providence on top by 7. A little old school vinyl in Parisi.
Oh, your era, Rich.
My era is always good. That's a lesson to be learned. Speaking of good, the halftime highlights. It was a very good first half for Providence.
Ed Cooley had multiple guys stepping up. Out of all of their offensive actions, this team is going to go as LaDante Henton goes this year. Tyler Harris was under control, but Henton very under control early when the basketball is in his hands, even when the Bulldogs are trying to deny him the ball. Now, speaking of the Bulldogs, the Friars did a great job taking away Sears. Only 3 shot attempts in 14 minutes. So Duren had to come through, and if the Bulldogs are going to mount the second half run, Javier Duren has to keep playing this well offensively. He has 10 of the Bulldogs' 27 points.
And you look at the percentages, Providence shooting 50% from the field and 12 of 17 from the free throw line. But you mentioned Sears with just 3 attempts. To go back to last year's comparison when this was a 2-point game, Sears had 16 field goal attempts and hit 13 and finished with a career high 31. So a much different start for the all-Ivy selection, Justin Sears, as the Friars have a 7-point lead to open the second half and are underway.
Sort of like, too, his veterans took care of the rock, Rich, with the point guard done, not playing, only 6 turnovers for Providence.
Here's Townsend, who had 2 fouls in the first half, as did Sears, and both sat for a good portion. Here's Townsend, and Townsend knocks it down. So a good start to the second half as Townsend gets into the act.
And good sign. This Yale team plays its best when it's not dominated by just 1 or 2 guys offensively. It's got to be a cohesive team attack.
Fans on their feet again for the first possession of the second half, waiting for a basket from the Friars, who lead by 5 after Townsend got his first basket of the game. Harris from long range, and Duren the rebound.
He's more comfortable when he's in rhythm, getting a good pass.
Duren got the step, scored, and the foul. It'll go on Junior Lamamba.
Well, we just talked about it. So comfortable when the ball is in his hands. He took 7 of their 24 shot attempts in the first 20 minutes, and Ed Cooley's jacket is no more, Rich Ackerman.
And Ted Bancroft comes in. So Duren, who had 10 in the first half, goes to the line, looking for his 13th point, and he hits. And the deficit cut to 2.
Fans getting antsy. They want to sit down here at the dunk.
So it was a big end to the first half for Providence, but Yale has come back with a 5-0 run to start things off in the first minute and a half. Henton. Harris the rebound, and strong move to go back up and put it in.
That's the advantage of having 6'7" and 6'8" guards on the perimeter. that could crash in behind guys that are only 6 foot tall.
7 for Harris, and the lead back up to 4 for Providence. Montague thought about it. And an offensive foul on Justin Sears, and that's going to be his 3rd.
Crucial call, and James Jones not happy at all. Good job of stirring that up by Carson DeRozier down low. He saw Sears wanting to seal and be aggressive with his back to the basket. He challenged him in the post. I don't know if DeRozier would have done that last season.
Now what do you do if you're James Jones, though? With 2 minutes gone by in the second half, your best player has 3 fouls.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he just lets it ride another few minutes. He sat so long there towards the end of the first half. There comes a point where you want him to give you something.
Try to get you to the first time out of the second half. And this one's going to go on Armani Cotton.
Because now, let's say you sit him now. You put him in later in the second half. Between sitting in the second half, between halftime and then the late first half sitting, talking he's gone an hour and 20 minutes without getting a sweat. I don't know how much he gives you anyway.
Trying to find the rhythm. As you mentioned, it was a quiet first half for Sears, who has just 3. Well below his average. Here's Harris all alone off the nice feed from Hinton.
The Bulldogs playing hard and scrambling, but just not communicating under the cup. Good sharing of the rock by the Friars.
Hinton with 10 points, but Tyler Harris starting to give him a run with 9. Duran, nice pass down low for Townsend.
Sharing of the rock right there on the other end. And I like that James Jones is going to leave Sears in and let the junior go at it.
And now do you go at Sears? Try to pound it inside to DeRozier. Here's Bancroft from 3. A little too much on that one. And Duran, a nice weak side rebound. Montague from way out. Long rebound comes out to Hinton.
Yeah, see, your defensive transition has to be on point versus them. Not because they're going to run out and get dunks, but they'll take quick threes.
Hinton gets it back and puts it in. 12 for LaDante Hinton, his first 2 of the second half. And the lead is back up to 6 for Providence.
They're just getting every 50-50 loose ball right now.
Cotton trying to take Harris off the dribble. And it goes off Cotton, and it'll go over to Providence. Greg Kelly checks back in, and Sears is going to go to the bench. So a frustrating afternoon for the 6'8" junior.
31 points at the dunk here last year as a sophomore.
Here's Hinton off the lob. Couldn't convert, though. You know, Sears averaging nearly 15 points a game.
LaDante Hinton to Tyler Harris. A combination that Ed Cooley would love to see a lot this season, especially when conference play rolls around.
6-point lead, a little more than 4 minutes into the second half, and it's been a very big start to the second half for LaDante Hinton.
And LaDante Hinton does so many things, fills so many columns in a box score. He's got a couple of assists on the afternoon, but this is what he did last weekend at Mohegan Sun that had thousands of Friar fans cheering. Being aggressive when the ball's in his hands on offense and just flat out hustling guys.
Doesn't quit on the play. And here comes Montague with Hinton back, and Hinton with the steal. And he's fouled. I think it's going to go on Montague.
Right on cue, Hinton goes flying on the floor.
And it's actually on Armani Cotton, his third. So now Sears on the bench with 3. Cotton with 3 as well. And Townsend and Kelly both with 2.
You know, that often happens, Rich, when you play against teams that have the size, strength, and athleticism advantage, because you're trying to do things to compensate for it, but it usually leads to fouling when you're at the disadvantage.
So Cartwright, who's done a very solid job with Dunn on the bench with an ankle injury today. Here's Henton for three. LaDontae Henton.
He's put so much polish on his game the last 2 years in that department. When his feet are set, he shoots it as well as any forward in the Big East.
Henton with 15, extending the lead to 9, the largest of the day for Providence at 43-34. Mason coming off the screen. Here's Cotton with his 3 fouls. Townsend, and tipped up and in. Not sure got a piece of it last, but it's going to go to Greg Kelly.
Townsend almost surprised he was open that time. No switch took place, and able to regain his footing before the travel call and at least get it up there.
DeRozier out high. Kelly follows him. Henton now puts it on the floor and over Townsend. LaDontae Henton with 17. He is taking over this second half.
That flex offense out of the half court that Cooley loves to run, not just for baseline screening, for Henton to be isolated out of the high post.
Cotton for 3. Townsend the rebound. Skip pass for Kelly. And it's blocked by Bancroft.
Big Ted.
Boy, it gives this team a lot of character. Dives for loose balls, can hit an open 3.
Crowd loves them.
DeRozier bullies his way down low. And that one's going to go on Javier Duran, rather.
DeRozier almost anticipated the defense early that time, but good sharing of the ball.
That's the second on Duran. The New York Life keep good going stat, and the Providence Friars, outstanding last year from the line, did not start that way this year, but since have gotten back to that 78%.
Just unbelievable.
And today
the
they're
broadcaster's drinks. It never fails. Whenever we talk about good free throw shooting.
12 of 18 today, and DeRozier hits 1 of 2. Ben Bentel checks in. DeRozier will take a seat. A 10-point lead for Providence as DeRozier will get a breather.
Even with the 10-point cushion, Providence going back to work on their half-court man-to-man.
There just have not been many good looks for Yale today.
No. Now, they have contested nearly every shot, whether they've been in man or zone.
They also haven't been able to penetrate and get into the lane, although Mason does there. And he hits it and scores the foul. It's going to go on Cartwright.
Good things happen for you offensively as a team when you're able to get to the middle of the floor. And as you just duly noted, we have not seen a lot of that penetration. Middle penetration especially for Yale this afternoon.
Mason hits the three-point play the old way. And it's 46-39, Providence in front. Rich Ackerman, Vin Parisi from Dunkin' Donuts Center. With the Friars looking to go to 6-0. And Harris fouled, scored, and he'll go to the line.
That's the mentality Ed Cooley wants Tyler Harris to have. Because when you have the height advantage inside, sometimes help defenders will come out and dig from the weak side. So when you have a guy on your back, Tyler, go to work right away. Be aggressive immediately, and Tyler did it that time to perfection.
Dahlia picks up his second, and the free throw is good by Tyler Harris, who now has 12. The lead back up to 10 for Providence. 7 minutes gone by in this second half. It's a 7-point game at the half, and LaDontae Henton has just taken over in the first 7 minutes.
Look at that pick and roll defense.
Here's Duran out for Mason for 3, and he hits. Makai Mason had his feet set off the nice feed from Javier Duran. And the block at the other end on Mason. So he picks up 2 quick ones.
Thought maybe they could get the offensive shrug off, push off that time. Call against Harris. Officials didn't bite on it.
Check that. It's just his first. Already the 6th foul of the half, so there's 12.5 left. The next foul on Yale, and Providence will be going to the line to shoot free throws.
Still 12.5 minutes to go in the ball game.
Here's Bancroft with Duran all over him. Harris watched by Sam Downey. Henton off the curl. And Henton with a nice touch from the free throw line. And it's Providence by 9. 19 now for Henton.
Providence coaching staff said he must have taken almost 1,000 jump shots a day in Alumni Hall on campus this summer and off season, and you can just see it in how quick his release has gotten.
He was 14 of 19 Sunday in his career high 38. He is 4 for 6 this half, and he's having an outstanding day, leading the way for the Friars with 19 as they lead by 9. Providence by 9. Vin Parisi on the baseline with more on the Friars. Vin.
Yeah, Rich, you know, how often do we see leads diminish in college basketball? Ed Cooley really got on his guys to not worry about the scoreboard, not let up defensively, and keep laying the hammer and going at this Yale ball club.
Well, they've led the entire second half so far after a 7-point lead at the break, and Duran unable to find the stroke there. An interesting 5 right now with Kyron Cartwright on the bench. Lamamba handling the point guard duties with Bancroft, Henton, Harris, and Bentel up front. And here's Bentel watched by Kelly. Lamamba hounded by Duran, and Henton able to get it and working on Mason. Harris in the high post, 5 on the shot clock, and Harris called for steps.
And that's what help defense can do for you. Another blue jersey coming in, helping from the weak side, made Harris think about it for an extra second.
So Kyron Cartwright on the bench for the first time today, getting a little respite. The freshman has done an admirable job this afternoon. You really haven't noticed the absence of Chris Dunn, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not, and so at this time of the year is so important for not just knowing your rotation, but knowing the positives and weaknesses of guys individually, getting that right group, right mindset together before conference play.
And that one turned over, and Providence will take over. But Dunn, and here comes Cartwright back into the game. Dunn and Jalen Lindsey both nursing ankle sprains right now. Both available today if needed, but Ed Cooley is going to try to keep them on the bench and get them healthy.
Yeah, and I think back to a couple of years ago when Vincent Council was hurt and how Ed Cooley talked about how much it helped Bryce Cotton's development at the time in his career. And, you know, obviously Chris Dunn and Jalen Lindsey want to be on the floor, but how valuable are these minutes for Cartwright and his personal development as a rookie?
And here's Henton, and that one off the mark. One of the rare misses today for LaDante Henton. He's now 21 of 32 from the field over his last 2 games. Mason finding Cotton streaking, and he's fouled by Bentel. And that's the second on the 6'8" freshman Bentel. Mason quick release, and Henton goes up. His biggest competitor for that loose ball was Ted Bancroft.
You can't get a rebound out of Henton even if you're on his own team.
Cartwright, quick move to the hoop.
Nice swing.
Henton couldn't finish from 3. And the lead pass for Sears, and that's an easy two. First basket of the second half and just 5th point of the day for Justin Sears. He came in averaging nearly 15 a game.
And able to run the floor, show his speed, agility, and athleticism. And he got runouts last year, a big part of those 31 points.
And his quiet day today is a big reason why Yale trails right now 51-44. A little bit more than midway through the second half. Cartwright still looking for his first 3-point field goal of the season. Now 0 of 4. Duran with the pull-up, and Harris with the rebound. DeRozier set to check back in. Here's Henton, a little step back jumper over Sears. And a look of frustration on Sears' face, thinking, what more does he have to do? And James Jones calls for timeout with a lead back to 9 for Providence.
Biggest difference between last season and this season so far, LaDante Henton on the offensive end.
Providence off to an impressive start in the second half. There was a 7-point lead at the break, and it's now 9 more than midway through.
Despite the foul trouble, as Ed Cooley single-handedly gets the Dunkin' Donuts Center on its feet.
What a job he's done here in his 4th season now, a Big East championship. Last year, the first for the Friars in 20 years, their first tournament appearance in the NCAAs in 10 years, and bigger and brighter days expected ahead, not only this year and beyond, and with good reason. A 5-0 start, and right now leading this entire second half, lead up to 9. Downey, though, cuts it back to 7.
But here's been the theme this second half, Rich, and even latter part of the first half. Every time it looks like the Bulldogs might be mounting a run, Providence answers the call and gets that cushion back up.
One reason why is LaDante Henton was 8 of 15 from the field, 21 points. And Henton now doubled, nearly lost it, but he's bottled up and now turns it over. And they're going to say it goes off Sears, so it'll stay Providence basketball.
You know the way he's playing this afternoon. James Jones has been talking about LaDante Henton in the huddles. This time they did not hesitate for the double team on the wing, especially when they saw him lose it for a sec.
Henton one more time, 23. And what a show he has put on recently. Over his last 3 before today, has been averaging 28 points a game. He's coming close to approaching that. Townsend left all alone, and Townsend hits from the key. But Henton, not only has he been scoring at an incredible pace, averaging over 23 points a game this season, but in his last 3, also 67% from the field.
Yeah, and I love how diverse and unique the offense has been, Rich. Sometimes it's catch and shoot. Sometimes it's hustle plays like those 2 points. Sometimes it's isolations from the top of the key. Sometimes it's step backs from the elbow. He literally shows you the entire repertoire.
He has done it all today. 25 for the senior, LaDante Henton. Here's Mason from long range and hits. Makai Mason knocking down the 3 over Tyler Harris. He has 12. And Yale, although the Bulldogs have struggled from the field today, not going away. No, trailing by 6.
Yeah, struggling from the field, and it's still a 2-possession game. That just shows you why the staff emphasized the 3-point line so much.
Cartwright missing again from 3, but Henton the rebound and finding Harris.
He does it all.
And a timeout called. Tyler Harris with 14 as the Friars extend the lead back up to 8 with just under 7 left. For the freshman out of Compton, California. Down low, Sears over DeRozier, and does not get that one to fall. And the foul is on Townsend. That's his fourth.
Well, the freshman Cartwright wants to be unselfish, wants to be a team guy, but eventually got to shoot the rock, big fella.
Very excited.
Wanting to go for it. Dad!
What a surprise!
This is my new boyfriend, Mark, I was telling you about.
Nice to meet you. Gotta run, honey.
All right.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
So easy to dip, so hard to put down. New rolled chicken tacos. Tasty shredded chicken, all rolled up with your choice of dips. Only at Taco Bell.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake.
Make your dreams come true this season with the Infinity Limited Engagement Winter Event. Right now, lease an Infinity Q50 for $329 a month. Visit your local Infinity retailer.
Oh, kids today. It's all gadgets and internet. Everything needs a battery.
Oh, Hank. Merry Christmas.
Oh, hold on now. K Jewelers.
It's beautiful.
Looks like we got us a young man here.
Save 25% on any Citizen watch. Powered by light. Any light never needs a battery. Citizen Watches at K, the #1 jewelry store in America.
That's long enough, son.
Every kiss begins with K.
Black Friday deals are here at Lowe's, which means it's time to start saving on Christmas decorations. Hurry in now for 25% off artificial indoor Christmas trees and 30% off all Christmas tree ornaments. Don't miss out on the year's best deals at Lowe's.
I taught you how to do it, okay?
Too good, too good, too good, too good, too good. Keep paddling, keep paddling, keep paddling.
Life insurance from New York Life can help your family keep good going.
Tomorrow, college football returns with a full day of games on Fox and Fox Sports 1, including Notre Dame and USC. It all begins tomorrow at noon Eastern on Fox Sports 1, Fox, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Rich Ackerman, Vin Parisi with you at Dunkin' Donuts Center. Happy holidays to one and all. Maybe
Jingle bells.
I don't know what else LaDante Henton can ask for, but he's certainly been good this holiday season. There's no question about it.
Yes, he's on no naughty list. His offensive game has been big time early. They'll need it, especially these next 2 weeks or so, their schedule.
Coming up next will be Kentucky, followed by Boston College a week from today, Brown and Rhode Island, and some great territorial rivalries. Harris going to the line with 14 points on the day. Comes up short. Five and a half minutes left. Providence has led the entire second half after leading by 7 at the break. The Friars shooting 12 of 21 this half, 57% after shooting 50% in the first half.
That's a superb ball screen defense. And talking with Ed Cooley's assistant coaches, that was one of the top 3 keys of the scouting report, because they set so many pick and rolls in the half court. Jump out, show, be aggressive, and help, and they've done that.
Henton too strong, and Montague the rebound. Cartwright got a hand on it, but Yale able to keep it alive. Sears had trouble controlling it. Here's Duran. Great defense by the Friars, but it looks like Bancroft's going to get called for the foul.
Brian Blaney, Bob Simon, Brian, son of George Blaney, longtime successful head coach. Holy Cross, Seton Hall, of course, you know him of his time at UConn.
So Javier Duran, who had a terrific first half, a 78% free throw shooter, off the mark there.
Associate head coach Andre LaFleur, who actually left UConn to come work for Ed Cooley here, part of the Providence rebuilding job, and he's been responsible for Just a few of these talented newcomers that the Friars have had in this system. A lot of recruiting buzz the last couple of years, Rich. Finally, with Batts and Cotton moving on, get to see the fruits of their labor.
Kick ball, and Harris, of course, transferred, as did DeRozier, out of the ACC. Harris out of North Carolina State, and DeRozier out of Wake Forest. And you had Dunn, who has been quiet due to injury his first 2 years, but you could definitely see the potential. Here's Bancroft with a little rain, and it doesn't touch anything. Here comes Duran the other way. Cotton with a good look from three. Townsend fights for the rebound and rejected by DeRozier.
It's when DeRozier's at his best.
Harris, and he's fouled by Montague. See if that's going to be intentional. No. Talked about the freshman just a couple of moments ago, and look at the balance in this class. You have Chukwu and Cartwright, and in the middle you have the bruising forward and Bentel, who has shown he can hit the three. Lindsay, the shooter. Planek, who's seen spot minutes so far.
That's NBA type size right there. Look at that, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 7'2". When you look at guys like Jalen Lindsay and Ben Bentel, they were getting recruited by some of the top programs in the nation.
And there's more coming, but unable to hit the free throw right there. So with 4:12 left, the Friars' lead is single digits. But the turnover by Yale, and they've just looked out of sync today, and credit the Providence defense.
Well, it's that length.
Shots have not come easy for the Bulldogs. A little pressure in the backcourt, and Kyron Cartwright, nice job to get it across, finding Bancroft.
Every head coach that has lost to the Friars so far this season has really talked about the length that Cooley's club has in their post-game presser.
The one thing they're probably looking to replace from last year is another perimeter player. Perhaps that's Harris, and you know, Henton has certainly alleviated that burden. But so far, it's been smooth sailing today for the Friars, up by 9. Nice early start on a holiday. Gives everyone a chance to come out, and they've had a big day here at the Dunk, where Providence leads by 9, 61-52, and has rarely been threatened in the second half.
Yeah, I think the whole Dunk as a whole, Rich, has had a little pep in their step today for it being Leftovers Day after Thanksgiving.
You'd expect
you
that.
Look very good, by the way, for post-Thanksgiving, day after.
I ate in moderation yesterday.
Good job.
I was on a strict diet from Vin Parisi. I had to make my game weight.
That's right.
So here's LaDante Henton, and knocks down the first, and will get another. Providence from the line today, 14 of 22. And Henton is a perfect 6 for 6.
You know, people are going to say, oh, Chris Dunn and Jalen Lindsay, they're young guys. They should still be able to. But think about how much a part they were of the success last weekend when they were playing well up until those injuries. Good adjustment today by Bancroft, Cartwright, these other guys that came through for Cooley.
They've been able to weather the storm. It was a back and forth battle for most of the first half, but it's been all Friars in the second half, and currently with their largest lead at 11. Duran for 3. Montague able to run it down, and Henton called for the foul. So that's the third on Henton. Makai Mason checking back in for Yale.
See Ed Cooley working those sidelines. He's going to coach down to the final seconds. He wants his guys to dig in and play with intensity to the final seconds.
I'll take nothing for granted, despite the fact that they've had a comfortable lead for the entire second half, and now up by 11. Here's Duran for 3, and he hits, and he's fouled by Harris. And you talked about Ed Cooley being nervous, and there you go, an opportunity for a 4-point play for Javier Duran.
They get a good post feed, good ball reversal. Harris runs at the defender instead of jumping straight up and contesting, a little undisciplined, and hits him. And now the 4-point play can make it a 7-point lead. That's why the way this team can shoot it as a group, leads can disappear quickly.
What a big miss for Duren, who's a 78% free throw shooter. And the lead is at 8 for Providence. With just under 3 minutes left, the Friars led by 7 at the half and have been led by LaDante Henton, who has had another strong game following up his 38-point performance on Sunday with 27 more today. That pass knocked away, but Henton able to run it down. They call over and back. And Ed Cooley arguing that that was touched by a Yale player.
Ed Cooley going crazy right now, and initially I was looking at it from Ed Cooley's angle. Official Rob Riley adamant that it went off Bancroft last.
So Providence with a chance to cut it to 6 and maybe 5 right here. So how quickly the tie can turn. Excuse me, Yale can cut it to 6 or 5. And here's Duren, and he comes up short on that one, and a whistle underneath. And that's going to go on Sears, who just picked up his 4th foul.
And Justin Sears literally just fell to his knees in anguish. He has not been able to find himself on the right side of the officials' whistles, Rich, here at the dunk the entire afternoon.
So here's Carson DeRozier at the line, an 83% free throw shooter. He's 2 of 4 today. 4 points and now 5.
Ed Cooley screaming to his guys right now. They want to drive and kick it. Contain the dribble.
1 of 2 for DeRozier. 64-55. And James Jones calls for time.
Now you have to talk communication if you're Ed Cooley in the huddle right now, because they're down 9 with a little over 2 minutes. They need the 3 ball. They're going to space the court. You're going to see some weave action. You're going to see some pick and rolls. But as Ed Cooley just shouted to his guys, they are going to need to drive it. They have to draw 2 defenders. This is a team that's not going to shoot over you. Now, this team's 7 for 25 from downtown today, but the better looks have been when they've been able to draw another defender in and make the extra pass.
And then when you come back to the offensive end, you want to use the clock, I would presume, and just work it, and work for that high percentage shot.
Yeah, because then you're in the driver's seat, because it's going to be under 2 minutes to go, about 1:45. You're going to have a 9-point lead if you get the defensive stop right now, but it starts here.
As we mentioned, the Providence defense has been strong today. There have not been a lot of good looks, but also the fact that I think the way the Providence defense has been so aggressive, it's been tough for them to get off a quick shot, let alone a good shot.
No question. And you said the key word there, aggressiveness. You could be long, but you could be passive. They're being long, active on the ball, getting deflections, but moving their feet and applying that pressure and being aggressive.
64-55, 2:12 left in the second half. It's been all Providence in this second half as Mason on the penetration finds Sears, but he lost it, and Cartwright recovers.
They were able to get the penetration, just not able to deliver the interior pass that time.
And a foul on Mason, which will send Bancroft to the line. And he'll shoot 2. So Ted Bancroft has chipped in nicely today. He has 6, including a 3-pointer early. Come up with a couple of hustle plays.
You need that in these type of tough ones. Early in the year, these non-conference games, they don't always go according to script. You need some other guys to step up for you at times.
Bancroft 1 of 3 at the line today. Make it 2 of 4.
That's a biggie. 10-point cushion.
With just under 2 minutes left to play. The Friars have done it without Chris Dunn, their starting guard, and DeRozier with the aggressive play inside. And it goes off Mason. It'll stay Providence basketball. Chris Dunn on the bench today with an ankle injury. Jalen Lindsey, the freshman shooter, also nursing an ankle injury, has not played. And next up for the Friars will be a date with Kentucky on Sunday as they're a minute 39 away from moving to 6-0.
As long as this Friar team is, Rich, they're going to see some serious length in that game versus the Cats.
Not only length, but depth.
Yep.
As you saw before from our graphic, 9 high school All-Americans on that team. The hand for the Friars, who have a 10-point lead. And a little touch foul right there.
Jones signaled to his guys to give up a foul.
Khalid Hani is second, and that'll send Bancroft to the line once again. Providence 18 of 28 today at the free throw line, and the first one is good for Bancroft. So the Kentucky Wildcats on Sunday, and then of course Boston College, Ed Cooley, former assistant there. Brown, Rhode Island, the Battle of Rhode Island. Bancroft knocks them both down.
The URI game will be a good one. Dan Hurley's crew. Last weekend when the Friars were playing well in Mohegan Sun, they had a top 25 win at home against the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Dan Hurley has done a very nice job so far with the Rams. Makes for exciting basketball around here in New England between Providence and Rhode Island, and Yale off to a terrific start as well. They'll take on Hartford on Sunday, trying to bounce back. Then, of course, a date with UConn and Florida. Boy, how about that for a back-to-back in 3 days?
James Jones taking on all comers.
2 Final Four teams from a year ago.
4 straight on the road after Hartford. 2 of them, if you just mentioned, top 25 programs. Some of the better perimeter players in the nation.
So a disappointing performance so far today for the Bulldogs, who have been playing so well, winning 5 in a row. Came in at 5-1 and hung in there for a while, but just found things tough to go their way today as Duran gets that one to fall. Brings it back to a 10-point game.
He's a tough cover, isn't he?
Yes, he is. 19 for Duran. And DeRozier will go to the line with just over a minute left.
Carson DeRozier at the line for the Friars to shoot 2.
So DeRozier with 5 today. But has certainly made his presence felt. Very aggressive on the defensive end as he knocks down the free throw. That is a solid game.
He needs to be a shot blocker this season for Ed Cooley without getting into foul trouble. This gives so much size to their interior defense, whether they're in man or zone.
Duran lost that, but Townsend right there. And there's another block for DeRozier, but he got a piece of Townsend.
There's a lot of leather on that one. Let's take a look. Strong drive by Townsend. And you know what? A lot of leather, but came across the forearms as well.
That's the second for DeRozier. There's Matt Townsend, as we mentioned, Rhodes Scholar. Perfect student, 4.0, Phi Beta Kappa. He's majoring in microbiology, would like to be a doctor one day. Oof. If I ever need a doctor, I'm going to him.
That's right. Someone who's never had a B.
I need to study with him too, even though I'm long out of school. 68-59 after the free throws from Townsend. Henton bottled up and able to get out of the trap. Bancroft runs it down and calls for time. Nope, and he's called for the travel. Did not get the timeout call. Instead, the turnover, the 10th for the Friars.
Did not award it. So what Jeff Anderson's telling Ed Cooley is, yeah, he was signaling a timeout while he was hopping along with 1 foot. He described it to Cooley.
The shooters back in for Yale. Montague and Mason along with Duran. And here's Townsend for 3. Bancroft with good position, and he's fouled over the back by Mason.
These Bulldogs are feisty, not going away.
Well, their 5-game winning streak may be coming to an end, but certainly not for lack of effort, that's for sure. That's the 3rd on Mason, as Bancroft back to the line.
I'll tell you, they have experience at the point with Javier Duran. Very good on offense as well, when he has a scorer's mentality. Sears is a Player of the Year candidate. Imagine what those January, February games are going to be like with Harvard.
Bancroft misses a pair. Yale picked to finish 2nd in the Ivy League in the preseason poll. Sears with the foul. And there's just a glimpse of the athletic ability of Justin Sears.
Boy, did he time that one. Perfect. A quick 3 in transition for James Jones, because that's what the Bulldogs need in the 6'8" junior from Plainfield, New Jersey. The one-handed flush.
The guy who didn't pick up basketball until the 8th grade. He was recruited by Stanford, among others, but Yale won out. And he's been fantastic so far. We talked about the fact that the Bulldogs picked to finish 2nd in the Ivy League in the preseason poll. As you mentioned, that's going to be quite a battle with Harvard. And, you know, don't forget Columbia in the mix as well. Off to a nice start.
Yeah, Tommy Amick has done a fantastic job at Harvard. Schools like Boston College came after him in the offseason. He's got a power at the Ivy League level.
Yale's without Nick Victor, one of its starters from a year ago because of a knee injury. But, you know, we talk about the length of Providence. Yale, for an Ivy League team, all their starters, when Victor comes back, are 6'4" and above. So that's going to be tough to contend with. And you have guys like Townsend, who's very bulky inside.
See, I like that. I like that exchange right there. There's a guy that's had as frustrating of a day and a ball game as you could have, and he has a good demeanor with him with his head coach as he's leaving the floor.
And that'll do it for Justin Sears, the All-Ivy League junior. Came in averaging nearly 15 points a game. Well below that mark today with just 7. As Henton now hits for his 28th point of the game. So Sears, who had a career-high 31 in last year's meeting, a much different story today. Just 7, 69-61. Duran's strong move makes it a 6-point game with 31 seconds left.
They are playing till that final horn.
21 points for Duran, and you know, as much as this has been Providence's second half, they've been in control throughout. There's still been that thought that, you know, Yale's still in this. They haven't been going away.
Ed Cooley's over there stressed out, shaking his head, perplexed, because you got to play till the final buzzer. They almost have had the mentality like they have a 10 to 15 point lead. Guess what? This is a 2-possession ball game with 31 seconds to go. And you know that's what Cooley's telling his guys. Stranger things have happened in the world of college hoops. You need to make your free throws, get back, and it's all been predicated off what Ed Cooley about 10 minutes ago, real time, was shouting from the sidelines, and that's they want to drive and kick. No straight line drives, contain the dribble. You talk straight line drive, look at this. Cross half court, one quick cross, no help side defender. A score in a matter of seconds, and Ed Cooley ready to rip his hair out.
So it's a 6-point game with 31 seconds left. And this is another occasion, though, Vin, where not having Chris Dunn in the lineup today puts a little more stress on this team. They don't have as many ball handlers right now. It's Kyron Cartwright who's the inbounds passer. I have to think it's going toward Henton. Here comes Henton to the ball, but he was double teamed, so Harris gets it in, and he's called for a travel. So a chance right here for Yale to make it a 3-point game.
He popped the feet there and took a couple of steps on the catch, is what Jeff Anderson just demonstrated to Ed Cooley. Did not jump stop and was not clean with his footwork.
So Yale inbounds underneath its own basket. Montague, quick release, short on the 3. Duran pulls it down. Kelly for 3, and it's good. It's a 3-point game with 20.7 left.
How about this ending here at the dunk?
And it goes to Henton, and he's fouled immediately, and he'll go to the line.
Ed Cooley, senior captain, is going to need him right now on these 2 free throws to make this a 2-possession game. Because right now, believe it or not, folks, the Bulldogs are within a bucket.
Henton is 7 of 8 from the free throw line today. The Friars 22 of 36 overall. So this one to make it a 2-possession game. And that one off the mark.
How about that?
So he gets another with 20.6 left.
This crowd is restless.
And that one is perfect. And Ed Cooley calls for time, so.
It's a wild scramble off the offensive board. And when Javier Duran, Rich, came back with this one, I actually thought he was going to let it fly from there. There's the dribble penetration that Cooley's been screaming about. Not a defender within 10 feet of him.
So now you have 2 things in the huddle to talk about. Number 1, your defense. And if, in fact, there's a basket, how you set up the inbounds pass.
Well, and think about it now defensively. Of course, a 3-pointer or fouling the 3-pointer is disastrous, but 20 seconds left is plenty of time for Yale to speed dribble to the rim, get a quick 2, and make it a 1-possession game with 10 seconds to go. Ed Cooley needs his guys in a defensive stance right now. He needs to move his feet, not foul, contain dribble penetration, but more importantly, have weak side help and be able to rotate the shooters if need be.
Yale has to go to the length of the floor here with 20.6 left. Here's Mason, who's had the hot hand today from 3 over 2 Friars, not even close. Cartwright pulls it down, and he'll go to the line.
Thought that the Bulldogs would try to get a quick mismatch or misdirection there. Instead, Mason let it fly. It seemed with 2 defenders flying at him.
Cartwright has hit both of his free throw attempts today. Just 4 free throw attempts on the year, though. And he'll shoot 2 with 14.4 left. And he gets the roll.
How easier these ball games are.
7 points, 7 assists, and perhaps the most important, the 8th of the day for Kyron Cartwright, 72-66.
How easier they are in the final minute when you make your free throws.
Kelly again, this time short, and Henton rips it down, and the final seconds are going to tick away. And despite a late charge by Yale, Providence walks away with a 72-66 win. 39 straight non-conference wins at home for the Friars as Providence wins at 72-66. Coming up next, America's pregame.